Good morning, everyone. Breakfast is soon served. I will have some great oatmeal in my favorite small cup. And together with that one, I will have some excellent coffee. But we're not going to talk about breakfast. Today I want to bring you out and we're gonna take a look at these two different cameras, and we're gonna take a look at the use of two different focal lengths for street photos. This street photo challenge will be no street because there is no street outside my house. We are located in Cebu, Philippines, and I'm in the province and far from the road also. So all the photos will be of people just outside my own door. The cameras that I want to bring along is my trusty and very new purchased FUJIFILM X100F with a fixed focal length, and my old 12-year-old camera now, my Nikon D7000, but with an absolute jewel of a lens. This is the Voigtländer 58mm, and I think this is a super lens. So if you haven't purchased or looked at any Voigtländer lens before, I suggest you spend a few hours roaming around the internet, maybe going to your favorite photo store, ask them if they have a Voigtländer lens that you can try out. They have it in different mounts. I happen to have a Nikon camera, so I got a Voigtländer with a Nikon mount. The image fidelity is super, and I guarantee you that if you have an old camera that you're not really satisfied with how the images are with the lens that you have, but you know that the camera can perform, you will never be disappointed with a Voigtländer lens. When the focal length is such a small like this one, I need to step away a little bit. I want to get a lot of shadow into my photos if I can. If it's people, I like to see if I can get some shadow crossing their persona. But right now, the sun is coming up. I will spend maybe 1 hour with each camera and see what type of photos that I can show you. But first, I will have some more coffee, finish my breakfast, and then we go outside a little bit. Now, that was a good breakfast, and the photos challenge can soon start, but I want to explain a little bit about the different cameras. We're located just outside my house right now. In the background, you will see part of the garden, and maybe you can hear some of the toads quacking in the background, and of course, my neighbor here, the family, playing with the kids, so they will be a little bit loud. Apart from that, it's just you, me, a few cameras that we are going to look at. The FUJIFILM X, let's talk about that first. Remember, I told you this before in a previous video. Battery life is short on this camera, and when I take out the battery bay, you also have insert where you put the SD card, and you only have one SD card on this one. Many believe that you have to have two SD cards on a professional camera, and maybe that's true if you're going to have a photo shoot, but if you are a professional street photographer, I think one is more than sufficient. You have pockets to put any more the cards that you would need. Again, I do take shoot RAW, and that gives me the opportunity to edit the photos if I choose, and if I want to enlarge them and hang it on my wall. I think some of the best thing about the Fujifilm lens, a Fujifilm camera, is this, the lens hood. Solid construction, everything made in Japan. I just smile looking at this camera. It's such a beautiful design. And I chose the black with a metal color. I like this. This is the most retro look that I can find, and I truly enjoy it. If everyone could make lens hoods, lens caps like this, I would be happy, and you would be happy too, because this lens is a solid piece of engineering. Super good. Other thing, the screen, I don't use it when I shoot. I use the viewfinder. I have not covered up the screen to make it scratch resistant or anything, so to me it could end up being scratched. Most likely it would just have my nose imprints, but that's okay. Also, while I shoot photos, I have it in manual and autofocus. So I autofocus, then I can use the aperture ring here, this ring, and I could do a custom focus on top of my autofocus, and that is really neat. I also have focus peaking on this one, so I can see what's in focus. My eyes are not as good as they was, and I don't like to use my glasses like so and take photos, so I adjust the diopter here. I adjust it so that I can see clearly, and this is my dominant eye, so shooting like this is perfect for me. On the inner side here you have the aperture. You can decide everything from down to f2 all the way up to f16, and then you can have it on auto if that's what you like. I like to fiddle around with the aperture, so I go everything from f2 all the way from f2 on, and sometimes, very few times, I go to f16. I think I mostly shoot in around f2 to f5.6, around that range. Apart from the battery life, these are super good cameras, but I suggest if you go for a photo walk for a long day, bring along one or even two extra spare batteries. Put that one down, and I put up my FUJIFILM lens camera. Sorry, this is of course not a FUJIFILM camera. This is the Nikon camera. I truly like the Nikon camera. I like the way it is in my hand, and my hand, they're rather small. So if you have big hands, maybe this is not so comfortable to you to hold. Again, I shoot in aperture priority. The lens hood on this one, still an excellent lens. I say lens hood, but I mean the lens hood. So this one is really good quality also. The construction on the on the Voigtländer lenses are superb. And here, if you want to have a clear take portrait, just use f5.6, and then it's easier for you to put things in focus. Again, my dominant eye is here, so I shoot this way. I focus and shoot everything in aperture priority. I also shoot in RAW. I don't like to edit my photos. I'm not really good in editing anything. I know there is lots of photographers on YouTube who are superb editors, and they can even take some of these landscape photos that they take, which is at the start quite horrible image, end up looking like Mona Lisa. They are super good editors. I can't compare to that at all, so I like to just take my photos, virtually no editing. Maybe I crop it a little bit, but that's all I also do. What more can I say about this camera lens that you don't already know? It's a solid construction again. It's fixed focal length. You have to zoom with your feet in both of these two cameras, but for me that's part of the joy. Battery life is long. Here under is the battery. This one lasts me a day and a 2 and a 3. so I have no problems using this one. Apart from that, when you go out shooting and taking photos, have fun. That's more than enough. If you come end the day with very few photos that is of any good quality, it doesn't matter. You have a great time anyway, that's what I say. Other people can argue about that, but I don't. I also have changed the camera strap to a custom one from Barton 1972 or 76. Okay, Barton something. I love this leather strap. If I could make it myself, I would. These are very neat, and it's a small customization to my own little camera, and it feels very good in my hand while walking around like this. Now let's walk outside a little bit and take some photos. Waiting for breakfast. My son has become quite a good chef, so my wife and me no longer have this area to ourselves anymore. Today we had friends sleeping over and my son prepared breakfast. As the morning light came through the window, it cast a soft light into the kitchen. I had already selected the Acros film simulation, so now all I needed to do was to zoom with my feet and frame my photo to my liking. Seeing through the electric viewfinder with the chosen film simulation is something you cannot do on a DSLR. And I will say, it's quite magical. I choose an aperture of f2.0, manual focus, auto ISO. Cleaning time. With a focal length of 23mm, this lens is a 35mm format equivalent on a full-frame camera. Again, Acros film simulation was selected, and while framing my photo, my mother-in-law was busy cleaning the fallen leaves. Notice the walking path leading your eyes beneath the mango tree to a small house in the distance. Again, the aperture I chose was f2.0, manual focus, and auto ISO. My children, yes, here they are, both of them. One of our large mango trees became the diffuser of light for this photo, and with the help of the on-camera flash used at a distance, it was more than enough light to give some catch light into my son's eyes. My daughter looks on in the background. Aperture was f2.0, manual focus, ISO 800. The protector. There are plenty of dogs around our home, and these dogs are no pets. They are mostly used for guard dogs, and if you are a stranger here, I suggest you give a signal before you wander in by yourself. This way, you will not be bitten or find yourself surrounded by 10 plus barking dogs. The tree above casts such a beautiful shadows on the dog and on the ground that I knew this would be a beautiful photo. Aperture was f2.0, manual focus, and ISO 720. The door. Walking back to the house, I found my niece waiting for her mother by the door. The diffused light cast such a beautiful reflection of her playing on the door handle, so this would be a great photo. Aperture was f2.0, I used manual focus, and ISO was 500. As with all the photos you have seen here, this was shot in RAW. As you see, I enjoy taking photos with both my cameras, and maybe you have two cameras also that you like. But if one is a fixed focal length like this, you can make the challenge even better by having a fixed focal length like this Voigtländer lens. Bring it along and you will have a great time. Voigtländer lenses like this one is a superb portrait lens. It was a 58mm, I remember that. So the photos you saw taken with this one bring out the image fidelity. Image fidelity is the way the color and the contrast work together to kind of make the subject pop out, and I think this is a great combination. And also the Fujifilm, it's a superb camera, I think so, and I love the Acros film simulation. Nikon, they have their own monochrome simulation here, and also it's a great simulation to work with. I don't adjust my photos in Photoshop, which I, by the way, I don't have. I rely on the way the picture was taken, and maybe I'll need to crop it once in a while, but that's more or less all I try to do. I enjoy taking photos, but I do not enjoy sitting behind the computer. But since I do take photos in RAW, I can work with photos in any photo editing software, and I guarantee you that the image will be super good, even though I'm not a good editor at all. I try to be a little bit better photographer than I'm an editor. So now you've seen how the image was with these two different camera lenses and cameras, and I think you can also walk around your place. Maybe you live in a town, maybe you live in a big city. Bring the camera you have with you, no matter what it is. Go out, take great photos, enjoy the day, share them online, or maybe best, print them and hang it on the wall like a trophy, and you will be super proud of what you have achieved. Until next time, from Cebu, Philippines, I'm Duffy. I hope you have enjoyed this video, and soon me and you will see each other again. Until next time, take care and have a great day. Bye bye.